So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can configure the captive portal on the PfSense Firewall so that you can allow the clients to authenticate themselves before they can access the resource over internet through the PfSense Firewall. So the configuration here is pretty simple. This is my PfSense Firewall. And this is the WAN interface with the IP 192, 168, 137, 135, and the LAN interface with the IP address 10.10.10, 135. So first step to configure the captive portal is to create the user by going to System, User Manager, and click on Add. So for example, I'm creating a test user with minimalistic configuration. I'm going to save it. So now again, for the same user, click on Edit Action, scroll down, and you will see an option, Effective Privileges. Click on Help, and then select User Services Captive Portal Login. And you can go through the privileges that the users will have. So I'm going to save this. So this user is going to be for the authentication purpose on my captive portal service. And the next step is to configure the DHCP service on the interface where the client will connect. For example, in my case, the client will connect to the interface. So I'm supposed to have the DHCP service running on the LAN interface that will give away the IP addresses to the client so that the client will then direct all the traffic to the firewall, and firewall can then do the captive port authentication. So click on service, DHCP server. I guess I already have the DHCP server configured on LAN interface. You can click on this option to enable it. Scroll down, enter the subnet. And here I've given the range as 10.10.10.140 to 10.10.10.142 because I have just a single client for testing. And DNS server is going to be my LAN interface IP. And the secondary DNS IP I've given as 8.8.8.8. Gateway by default will be the LAN interface where the DHCP services are running. So it's going to be LAN interface. Once done, you can save it. And I have the DHCP services running on my LAN interface. Next is the option to configure the portal. You can select this option under services, captive portal, and click on that. You will have to enter the zone name. So I've given the zone name as captive and zone description as testing. I'm going to save this configuration and I'm going to click on enable captive portal. And I'm going to select the interface as LAN. Coming down, minimum concurrent connections, I'm going to put it as 10. This is the concurrent sessions from the client. So this is the number of connections you can have from single IP. And coming down to the option where you have the captive portal login page. If you would like to have custom logo and background, then you can click on this option and browse across logos and the background image. I'm going to keep it as default. Terms and conditions, well, I can upload. And coming down to the section authentication, choose the option use an authentication backend and choose local database. And then you will have to check this option, allow user/group with captive portal login privileges set, because in the first step, we have enabled the user with this particular privilege. In this particular demonstration, I'm not going to enable the HTTPS login, but then in the coming videos, I'll show you why would you need the HTTPS option. And down below, you see a disclaimer which states that you should always have the DHCP services running on interface where you would have the captive portal service running. So we already have configured in the second step, so we can sit with this. Okay, so now we have our captive portal configuration and our captive portal services are running on LAN interface along with the DHCP service. So now let's move on to our client, which is connected to the LAN interface. So this is the client, which is connected to the LAN interface. So if you click on detail, we will see the IP address as 10.10.10.140.255.255.250, same as what we have configured on the PfSense. Default gateway is 10.10.10.135, which is the LAN interface of the PfSense firewall, and DHCP server IP DNS as 10.10.10.135, which is the LAN interface IP, and this DNS IP is 8.8.8. And I can show you the route as well. So this is the default route, which states that move the traffic, push the traffic from the system to this gateway, which is the PfSense. Now let's try to capture some traffic as well. Okay, so I'm going to open the browser. And as you can see on my browser, that you must log into the network before you can access the internet. And how is this happening? Well, if you look at the pictures, you will see that the traffic that is okay. Let's try to show. Okay, so as you can see, all the traffic that is initiated by this particular client that goes through the firewall PfSense is actually getting redirected to the captive portal page. You can see here, this is the captive portal page. So this is how the browser knows that it has to authenticate. You can see here, all these are the messages, HTTP redirect, and it is asking you to go to this particular URL to authenticate the client before it can actually access something in internet. You can see here I'm not able to ping. Okay, seems like some cache issue. As you can see, I'm not able to access any of the sites. Let me try to restart the system to avoid any caching issues. Okay, so I have restarted the system to avoid any sort of caching from the previous session. As you can see on my screen, there is this is the routing table. I'm not able to ping google.com because this particular client is not authenticated yet. This is the actual default route pointing to the PfSense Firewall. And you can clearly see that I'm able to resolve this particular domain using the PfSense LAN IP. But I'm not able to ping any of them. So the reason is that I'm not authenticated yet. So once I'm authenticated, I should be able to ping the domain. And same goes for the browser, I guess. Let's try to the browser. And as expected, you will see the notification to log in to the network before you can access internet. If you click on this option, it will take you to the captive portal login page. Since I have not authenticated myself, I could not be able to access the internet. As you can see on my screen, captive portal authentication is not yet done. I'm not able to access any of the website. It's failing. Since we have not enabled the HTTPS interception, so all the SYN all the packets after the DNS resolution will get dropped on the PfSense firewall, and only after the successful authentication in the captive portal, I will be able to access these resources. So let's try to open the Wireshark capture. As you can see, there are multiple SIM going on, but none of them is actually getting the reply. A lot of retransmission. And at the same time, you can see the HTTP traffic getting redirected to the captive portal URL, which is the LAN IP here 10.10.10.135, and this is the actual captive portal URL. Let's try to set the continuous ping, and then okay, there's one more thing that I could show you. The reason why you cannot be using the HTTP version of captive portal, I have to avoid any sort of delay here. So this is the captive portal capture from my previous session. And if I go here, okay. So you can see here, I'm getting a redirection from the command. Okay, so this is the capture here. If you check this particular packet capture, whereas I'm entering my password, I should be able to see the authentication and the value. So I will be able to see the username and password if I am on the HTTP session. So that is the reason why we should avoid using HTTP session for the captive portal. Instead, we could be using HTTPS to protect the username and password that are used during the authentication process. Okay. So still timing out. Let's try to authenticate. Test was the user that we created. Click on agree. And if you click on terms and condition, you will see the terms and conditions that we have configured on the PfSense Firewall, in our case testing. And then click on login. Once you log in, you should be able to access all the web. As you can see, I'm able to open all the website. And if you come to the command line, you will see that I'm able to reach out to internet through the PfSense file. And to check everything on the firewall, you can go to the firewall status, DHCPs. You can see here, this is the IP address assigned to the client, online active. And if you click on the captive portal, you will see that this particular client is authenticated with the username test. And this is the timestamp. And if you want, you can disconnect all user. So that was all about how you can configure captive portal. on PfSense Firewall. And it included 3 steps, whereas in first was user creation with the captive portal login privilege. Next step was to configure the DHCP services. Third was to configure the captive portal. And then once we have the configuration, we can go to the client, which is actually getting the IP address from the FortiGate from the PfSense LAN interface. And since all the traffic is encrypted by the PfSense firewall, so you will get an option to log in. That's all in this video. See you in the next one.